Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about a TV show because like 15 of y'all sent me this link to a review of a show that's coming out. And the general concept of the show is to take a bunch of millennials, is what the term they used, and basically put them through survival school. Seemed kind of interesting. I would point out that these aren't actually millennials. And this is my first sign that this is probably not going to be something I'm going to watch. They're not millennials. These are 20, 21-year-old kids. They're using the term millennial to tap into the culture nonsense, generational nonsense that's going on. Just to go ahead and point something out, those weak, whiny millennials you keep talking about, that's the 19-year-old who showed up in Iraq in 2003 and spent his entire career at war. That's the weak, whiny millennial. Just so you know, same generation. It's not millennials. They're younger than that. And it's really just entitled people. But still, the idea of taking a bunch of rich, entitled people and putting them through survival school, still mildly interesting to me, so I keep reading. And then I get to one of the dramatic scenes that it's talking about, where they give the vegan the deer to skin. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, okay, so it's just over-dramatic nonsense. That's not actually school. Not really. I mean, if you've been to Sierra or something like that, you've been through some kind of survival school, what's easier? Taking a deer or finding edible plants in an area where deer live? Probably easier to find the plants, right? So it's not actually about teaching survival skills. It's about poking fun at a group of people to feed culture war stuff. Not really something I would watch. And the description of that scene, it reminded me of a clip that went viral a couple years ago. And actually I think I did a video about it because it bothered me so much. It's a young man, I don't know, late teens, early 20s. And it's at some kind of family gathering. And one of the older family members gives him a manual can opener. And they film him. And everybody laughs because he doesn't know how to use it. Okay. Just out of curiosity, whose responsibility was it to teach him how to use it? Most complaints about the younger generation are really just admissions of failure for the older generation. And then you have to think about it from a wider perspective. Why is there this drive for particularly men to have their kids have the same skill set they do? I mean, it kind of denotes a lack of progress, right? If they have to know the same stuff you did. It means society's not moving forward. I had a recent conversation that is like hyper related to this with a friend of mine. He had just found out that his kid, who is now 21, 22, something like that the only time he had taken and skinned a deer was when he was 15, one time with his dad. And he's sitting there just venting, going off about it. He's like, I feel like I let him down. I can't believe he doesn't do that, doesn't really know how to do that. Just that one time. And I'm sitting there and I'm letting him vent because I can tell he's in a mood. But eventually, I have to say, yeah, I remember. I remember how much you used to hunt. You had all those stuffed deer all over your house. He kind of looks at me, No, 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 we don't. Yeah, you had them everywhere. They were everywhere. No, no, we did not. We didn't have money for taxidermy. And that's why you hunted so much, isn't it? Your kid didn't have to do that, huh? And I'm sitting there with that smirk on my face because I've just Andy Griffithed him. And he promptly tells me to shut up, but I feel like I made my point. I don't want my kids to have the same skill set I do. I would feel like an abject failure if my kids have that same skill set. I want them to be better than me, not me. Since most of the people who fall for this idea of wanting to perpetuate the macho nonsense, right? Since most of them are people who like to quote the founders, I have a quote for you. I must study politics and war, that our sons may have the liberty to study mathematics and philosophy. Our sons ought to study mathematics and philosophy, geography, natural history and naval architecture, navigation, commerce, and agriculture, in order to give their children a right to study painting, poetry, music, architecture, statuary, tapestry, and porcelain. You're supposed to progress. Society's supposed to progress. Yeah, I want everybody to have basic survival skills for an emergency, but it shouldn't be your life. And when you're teaching people, it shouldn't be mockery. That's not really a motivating thing. That doesn't actually make them want to learn. And it doesn't make it something that they're going to carry with them. They're just trying to get through it. They miss out on the deeper aspects of it when it comes to self-reliance and all of that stuff. So now I'm probably not going to watch the series just based on the link that I was sent. But it's interesting to me that these discussions, they've taken place for hundreds of years. Each generation feels the younger generation is going to be the one that brings down the world. And each generation is created and molded by the one before it. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.